is up, guys? First podcast of 2023, but second YouTube video because the first one was a vlog. Welcome back. Today I think it is the perfect day to discuss entrepreneurship when no one understands, because yesterday was mental breakdown day for me. I just felt so lost, like I wanted to give up. I was just laying on my office floor. I just felt like crap, so really trying to overcome the hurdles of self-worth and limiting beliefs, and really believing that the future that I envision for myself is possible and it is going to happen because the road to get there is hard. So the reason I had this video idea was I went home to New Zealand for Christmas and New Year's, and it was the weirdest trip I've ever had. From all directions, I basically got told to get a job, and not in these exact words, but I'm basically the disappointment of the family. Now, I am the first one in my family to get a degree. I moved out of home when I was 16. I started my degree 3 hours away when I was 17, which was quite a distance in New Zealand because it's such a small place, but a big deal over there. And did my degree from age 17, and I think I graduated a week before my 21st birthday. So that's pretty good in my eyes. I've started 4 businesses by age 24. I had 3 jobs at school as well when I was so young, literally 3 jobs, and working at cafes on the weekend, Burger King drive-through when I was still at school, and then I worked Pack and Save, Checkout Chick, and started 4 businesses by age 24. I did a social media management business where I'd go around and make content for all these brands. I had a food truck, and then when crap hit the fan with my ex-partner's family and they decided to change their mind and I no longer had a food truck to sell out of, I switched it into a meal delivery company and did meal prep for all these people and drove around the towns and delivered it to them. And I am a holistic nutritionist now as well, so I do online programs, meal guides. I do content for other brands, so like influencing, but I get sent health food products from different companies online, make recipes, take photos for their website and their social channels, things like that as well. So a lot of user generated content. And I'm in the middle of making a plant-based recipe app, and I do DJing now as well, so I guess you could class that as a business. So 5 businesses by age 25. Well, DJing isn't really a business. It's just like a side project and you're on your own, but it's still like a thing that you've got to work towards constantly. So in my eyes, I've done pretty good. I've moved to a lot of places with my degree. I did hotel management, so we had to go and do all these work placements. I moved to Alice Springs in the middle of the desert of Australia at age 17 to work at a casino. I've lived in Bay of Islands, I studied in New Plymouth, I grew up in Te Awamutu, lived in Auckland trying to pursue my modelling and stuff like that. Moved to Yeppoon when I first went to Australia. Now I'm living in the Gold Coast, and I'm only 26 now, and I've done a lot in my life. I've got a lot of experience in all these different areas and am pretty focused on where I'm heading and what I want to achieve. But when I went home, I don't know, I've been through a lot in the last few years. I keep saying how I got out of this really unhealthy relationship, but it's only because it ruined all of my self-worth, which I'm still trying to rebuild, and it's going to be coming up a year soon since I left it for good. Oh my gosh, wow. And the thing is, I've done a lot of work on energy and the subconscious mind and your limiting beliefs, and even if I was in Yeppoon and I was writing these ebooks and I was trying so hard to make my business work, you literally can't bring business success if you walk around calling yourself a piece of shit every day, because that's what you believe because of how other people will make you feel. You're never good enough, you're not meeting the mark, you're not valued, like you don't feel valuable in this world. So how are you ever gonna bring in clients or make heaps of sales if you don't even believe in yourself because your environment is so detrimental? So I moved to Gold Coast, and the next house was also a learning experience. It really was a good stepping stone, but I started experiencing some of the same things, life giving me tests to teach me how to stand up for myself and to prove to myself that I can actually do it. So that caused a lot of stress around the end of the year as well, and I was holding on to so much anger, and I just had a lot of stuff to work through, honestly. So this year I've got my brand new house and my brand new very, very healthy relationship with very calm, mature communication, which is amazing. I did a weekend vlog of our moving in and house tour, so you can check that out on YouTube as well. So this is the year of business for me, and I know that it's happening. I've got so many big plans. I've got some big opportunities in the works, including a trip back in March, which I'll touch on soon. So I went home for Christmas, and basically I just got told by all angles that I just need to get a job and give up on what I'm doing. I don't present myself online very good. One of the weird things, like, Dad asked how I was going, and I was like, I've just moved to this different suburb, and my old gym was very small and only had about 2 to 3 people working out at it sometimes when I went in the middle of the afternoon. So going to this new gym where it was so big and so busy and all of the machines were full, I got actually really bad gym anxiety, and I had to do my program backwards and just kind of hop on any machine that I could find free at the time. And I was like, oh my god, this is like really stressing me out because I'm not used to so many people being around, and everyone kind of just looked at me because I'm the new face in the gym and I'm really muscly, so people just look like, oh wow, that girl is muscly. But I told Dad, I was like, I've been getting really bad gym anxiety. And he said, well, maybe you should put more clothes on then. I literally wear normal gym clothes. And my friend said, even if I showed up in a baggy t-shirt and trackies, people are still going to look at me. So my family are not happy with, my social media, how I promote my brand. They think I should separate my modeling from my nutrition stuff, but it's just, the world is a little bit different now. Like, the woman that I look up to, Lauren Simpson, is one of them. She's my business idol. Between her and her partner, they own 10 properties, and she just moved to the Gold Coast not long before me, and she is thriving. She's got like 3 businesses. She's my ultimate business idol. Another lady I look up to is Hattie Boydell. Just the most insane physique that I've ever seen. And I was crying to my friend saying like, oh my god, my family think that I need to stop my modeling, blah blah blah. And she's like, do you think Hattie Boydell would say to put more clothes on because it's unprofessional? They're literally fitness models. They won the show that I do. They won the crowns. So I want to follow in their lead, and I absolutely love what they're doing and I admire them. So I've tried to think of it coming from a place of love and just not understanding the modern world. Marketing is done on social media, and if I post a picture of food, honestly, no one gives a crap. So as much as I hate that as well, that is just how society responds to content. And it's always been the thing that you just go to school, get an education, get a job, work every day with like 2 weeks off a year until you're 65, and then you can enjoy life when you're too old. Well, not too old to enjoy it, but it's going to be different as if you're compared to if you're a younger age and have more freedom. And I'm not anti-working. We need people to make the world go round, but at least finding things you love. And for someone like me who loves a lot of variety, maybe having a side hustle and a part-time job or something, so your weeks are just got a little bit more in it and you're out and about doing a few more things, or just having a couple of things on the go. That's what works for the way my brain is anyway. just so that you're very interested day to day and you're always learning new things and always feeling challenged. And it's not about this generation don't want to work or no one wants a job. Like, I've really enjoyed jobs. I worked at a health store in Rockhampton and I loved unpacking the stock and just opening all the boxes and stacking the shelves because I loved looking at all the health food products. Like, oh my God, reading the labels of this. Oh my God, look at all these new products, and there'd be new vegan food that comes through. I'd just be so interested in all the brands. So even though I was just serving at the counter and stacking shelves, it's probably honestly my favorite job ever. I loved the staff that I worked with. And yeah, I worked that in with the food truck and the meal prep thing, and I didn't have many DJ opportunities in Yeppoon because there's only one club. But I just, yeah, and wrote my ebooks and worked on my business, and I just had a lot on go all the time. So yeah, it's not like we don't want to work, it's that we just want to find stuff that lights us up and actually challenges us and helps us to grow. I've also been trying to think that people's opinions only come from a place of love as well. Your family don't want to see you struggle, and I have struggled a lot, but business takes time. You don't, like, some people get a good streak and are pretty successful straight away, but most of the most successful people in the world have had a lot of failures, more failures than other people had even tried, and it takes time to build a brand, and it takes time to refine your skills and get more knowledge and get better at your processes within your business and get better at your branding and marketing and even how good you are at doing the thing. So I spoke to my friend, I sent some voice messages last night just crying because me and my partner have been booked to go back to New Zealand in March. It's probably only 2 or 2.5 months since I've gotten back to Australia after New Zealand and receiving all this criticism. And another thing I forgot to mention was being told to give up bodybuilding after the show because if I get older and stop working out, then all my muscle is going to turn to flab. And I was in New Zealand for 2.5 weeks, didn't have access to a gym, and I struggled because it's a good emotional release. It's how I get rid of my stress. It actually feels nice to do weights. It just makes me feel so good. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing it for a long time, and I've decided that I actually want to go compete in Vegas, so I want to take it even further. So knowing I'm going home and knowing that my body is going to be more muscly, more lean, which they don't like, and still not having a job, a full-time job, and giving up on everything I'm doing, and that's not enough time to prove myself. I need this whole entire year to do everything. I'll probably have my app launched by then but you need time. So just, knowing that I'm about to go back there very soon and time is going to fly by, and what am I going to say now? And I'm just a very sensitive person. So I was talking to my friend about, I don't know what to do. Me and my partner have been booked to go to New Zealand, and he is going to do a shibari workshop, and I am going to do a nutrition workshop. I'm going to do a liquid drum and bass set for the morning yoga, which is amazing, and he is going to do the photography for the event because he is an amazing photographer and usually does the biggest bush diffs in Australia. So I was freaking out. I don't know whether to cut the trip short or what to do or to cancel it because I can't face being such a disappointment. And yeah, he just sent me some reassuring stuff, and he's like, we'll look after you. I'm also going to be 6 weeks out from the stage and traveling to another country for 10 days. What do you eat at the airport? What do you eat when you're on the road? Usually I'll get vegan pies and stuff from the gas stations. So how am I going to stay on top of my nutrition? How am I going to stay on top of my fitness when I'm 6 weeks out? It's really, really stressful. And then also be the disappointment of the family still not doing what they want me to do, because I'd rather come back in a while's time and be able to prove myself that I've done it. And he was just like, honestly, you are killing it already. Like, why are you even worrying? And all my friends tell me that. They're like, honestly, you've done so well since leaving your small town and then leaving Auckland and going to Australia and all the stuff you've been through. And I do have the funnest life. I'm pretty happy. And reflecting on people's opinions about what I should do, getting a full-time job, what is the most valuable thing to me? I think it's time freedom and having the space to create my own day. I can do whatever I want every day, and I'm usually in my office on my computer, but it's all creative stuff. I can clean whatever time of day, I can wear whatever I want, go to gym whatever time of day that I feel like, eat lunch whatever time I feel like. That's what I want to do, and I want to work on whatever project I feel like. If I'm having a bad day, I might jump on the decks and have a mix for a while and just get my energy moving through my body kind of thing. And also being told from someone who retires in 3 years, who isn't liking their job, sometimes you've just got to do things you don't want to do just to get by. I'm retiring in 3 years, so I can do what I want then. And I was thinking, 3 years? Do you know how much you can achieve in that time? You can do so much in 3 years. I literally turned my whole life around and created a whole new reality, moved to my dream destination, worked through all this stuff in a year. Like 3 years is a lot of time, but you just sit at your job because that's just what you're supposed to do and it's safe. But we learned after COVID that that's not actually the safe option either. So yeah, finishing off on that topic is just me trying to get a thicker skin, remembering it comes from a place of love, and we are in a different generation, and just thinking about what your values are. And I value different things to that. My dad's been working 7 days a week since like July, gets up at 5 a.m, sometimes gets home at 9:30 p.m. When do you go to the beach? When do you go for a hike? When do you go out for brunch with a friend? Just little things. I don't aspire to kill myself for a job. So something that made me laugh, yesterday I had the worst mental breakdown day, and I was looking at my current schedule. It's so big I don't even know where to start. I'm going to show you now. So that is kind of what it looks like. This is one of the planners from Steph Pace. This isn't a promo. I just really like how big this thing is. There's so much space. There's monthly reflections in there, which I really like. So I'm not a promo, I bought it myself, but it's jam-packed, and that is just everything doing a brain dump. I've just moved into this house. I'm going to put a picture on the screen here of like a large majority of what was on it. If you're listening on the podcast, you can check the timestamp and have a look at it on YouTube, because I'm not going to bore you with all the details. But setting up this house, getting ready for my app, trying to start my prep, and there's so much just random admin stuff on there. And I had a complete mental breakdown because it is so much to get through in a day. And because I'm not working full time, I feel like my family think I'm just chilling. I'm just home hanging out. Just like, a lovely Wednesday and just hanging out. And I'm literally flying around trying to get everything done. And there's so many things in so many different categories: business work, just life admin, setting up the house, all the stuff. So yeah, that was a big realization as well. I'm not just chilling. Even what it takes to make one YouTube video, do you know it takes me a day of filming? So I've got all my videos planned ahead of time. So on the day I'll think, or a few days before, I'll decide what I want to film. So I've got a few days to think about any extras I want to add. So film the actual video, upload to the computer and edit it. That takes a few hours to edit myself. Add in all the timestamps of when to link previous YouTube videos. Start uploading to YouTube, write the description, make the cover photo, and then I cut out all these different snippets of the video and make them into reels. So then drafting them into social media, writing all the descriptions for those, making the cover photos for those, and then putting them into my social media scheduling app. And I send all my videos out to my email list at the end of the month as well. So that takes me about a whole day. And even in relation to bodybuilding prep, honestly, if you work full time, don't look at these fitness models online and feel bad about yourself because it takes time to build a body. Sometimes I feel best breaking up my day, so I will wake up and I'll have a coffee and have breakfast and smash out my work until, I probably have lunch around 12 or 1 o'clock, and then I feel best heading to the gym at 2 or 3 o'clock. I can't concentrate the whole day, and also the gym is busy from like 4 p.m. onwards, and if I exercise too late at night, then I can't sleep. If I exercise in the morning, I feel like I need to spew because I need to eat and just like chill for a bit, and my focus is very sharp in the morning. So I focus hard until about 2 p.m. and then say get up and then go to the gym, and then by the time you get there, get sorted, do your workout. The other day I did a heavy leg workout, which is probably just over an hour. It really took the energy out of me. Then do your stretches, then drive home, then decided to walk my dog, which I aim to do about 4 times a week or every second day. Took her for an hour walk, stopped in at the supermarket, grabbed a few things for dinner, got back, and that's like literally half a day to do a bit of strength, well, not a bit of strength training and cardio. I'm training hard for a bodybuilding show, but that's like a whole afternoon of exercising and just doing any errands while you're in town, and extra ingredients that you might need for whatever you're cooking tonight. It takes time, and I'm like, oh my god, that's half a day. So sometimes I do a bit more work after dinner as well. I stuff that's a bit lighter on the brain, but I like to spend time with my partner as well. But literally just exercise on the days where I do 2 in one day can take hours. Part 2 of this episode, success isn't instant. You've got to try something, launch it, get feedback, improve, launch it again, up level in your knowledge and skills, recreate it, launch it again. And this can be in a way of a variety of different products. I've done this with my nutrition coaching. How can I make my videos better? How can I make it easier for them to understand? How can I simplify my recipes? Can I give them weekly journal prompts to check in with themselves? How can I constantly improve this process for the next lot to come in? With my business as well, I haven't been in one location for long. I started my business, I finished studying holistic nutrition right before I moved to Australia. So I basically started it in Auckland, then moved to Yeppoon, and that's the beef capital of Australia, well, Rockhampton. And I am a plant-based nutritionist, and I had a plant-based food truck. So that's a little bit hard to get ahead there. Obviously, there's not much competition, but people just really are not open to it there. They find you offensive. And then I moved to Gold Coast now, so now I'm trying to get my name out there in Gold Coast and make new connections over here. So even though I have an online business, but you're still meeting people in day-to-day life, and when you're traveling around, it has been very unsettling with everything I dealt with the relationship and stuff like that as well. So you don't just break away from security and have instant success and be earning thousands of dollars every month. It's a growth game, and you've got to be in it for the long haul. Now, I've got an inspiring story for you. On Sunday, I did the most intricate, out there, craziest UV paint shoot. The most intricate detailing. It was 9.5 hours to paint me. And this man's name is Marco, and he does body art at some of the Bushdoofs in like Sunny Coast area, and we're in Gold Coast as well. So he did this shoot on me, and he was telling me how he got to where he is. So he's got 11 years under his belt, but for 6 years he worked for free. And he just started painting people at Bushdoofs and festivals, and he got booked a few times. He showed up to this party and they wanted him to supply all of the UV lighting. So he got there and there's no lighting to even show off the paint, and he said, I'm not a lighting and production guy, I'm an artist, so this should be pre-supplied to me because you're the event organizers. So he ended up getting a UV light in case this happens again in the future. And then another time he rocked up to a party and there wasn't even anywhere for him to plug the UV light into. So how can you put on a show when there's no power even for the light in the first place? And he was just telling me these stories, and even had this reel go viral and it had like 9 million views, but the person had tagged his username incorrect, so he wasn't able to reap the benefits of any of the exposure. So stuff like this happens in business all the time. You can be trying your hardest and you just got to learn and take that knockdown, and what can you learn from that? How can you be more prepared next time? What can you change? Okay, do it again, get knocked down in a different way. And it's just all these ebbs and flows. Part 3 of this episode is take advice with a grain of salt. Are they living the life that you want? Before I left Rockhampton, I've spoken about this on my channel before, I got told a lot of things. I was really struggling there. I had nothing to my name. I felt really behind in life, and I got told to stay in Rockhampton. You can't go home to New Zealand and move to Gold Coast and compete all in a year, and not to invest in this woman's confidence coach. I should quit my gym and PT, and I should get this job working with disabled people. And I actually did the opposite, and even though I had no money, I invested in this woman's confidence coach, and I did a payment plan, and I moved to Gold Coast with $50. I worked double shifts in the week leading up to that, moved here with $50, like in a tank full of gas, spent some of that money on food on the way, and then when that last week's pay came through, used that for that week's rent, and that was it. I was on my own. I had to start making money straight off the bat, find a way to do it, get through, because otherwise you're going to lose this house and you're going to have to leave the country because you can't stay afloat. So I'm literally getting goosebumps talking about it. But I guess I'm quite fearless because I've been like that my whole life. And look, I made it work, and we're here a year later, and almost a year later, and I did it, and I turned my whole life around. And that girl did something very mature, and she came and apologized to me at the end of last year. We're not blocked on social media. I just made her manually unfollow me, and she messaged me and she said, I've really looked into not giving unsolicited advice anymore, and hurt people. So there was all these reasons why I had like resentment towards blah blah blah, and sorry that I wasn't the person you needed me to be. And I was like, wow, that is so mature for someone to come back a year later, because I was really effed up after that situation, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, it was just very nice to receive a message like that. But when people are giving you advice, like say from someone in your family, and they are just working full time and they're really stressed out, blah blah blah, that like they don't often understand what you're trying to achieve, because it's not the traditional way of going about things. I don't want an average life, so I'm not going to subscribe to the expectations of society. Even with niching down in what you do, yes, that is important, and yes, that is good to be known for something, but I've had a few different bits of advice lately to separate everything. But do you know how much I would have to do on social media if I separated everything I did? I've got my DJ stuff and nutrition stuff separated because I listen to heavy as dubstep. So someone who's coming to me for holistic health advice probably doesn't listen to extremely intense, loud electronic noises. And if I'm putting up posters of where I'm playing and stuff, they're like, no, they don't really go together. So that one's kind of fair enough. But if I was to separate my modeling from that again, and then separate my personal life stuff from that again, I would have so many accounts to try stay on top of. And already I'm across so many different channels: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, podcasting, sending out my mailing list every month, and my DJ Facebook, DJ Instagram. There's so much already. So it's important to be known for something, yes, but in today's day and age, people want to see the face behind the brand. They want to see raw moments of your life. They want to know a few things that you're struggling with, and it's more personalized. People don't just follow businesses anymore, they follow people. So I've decided just to intertwine everything who I am. If you are wanting to become self-employed or start your side hustle or business, but you're not sure what to do it on, just think that anything can be monetized. I was listening to an Ed Milet podcast the other day, and one of his friends said, I want to start a podcast, but I don't know what it to be about. I don't know what it should be about. I'm not good at anything in particular. And Ed said, well, he's a really good dad, so why doesn't he start a dad podcast? Honestly, it can be about anything like that. And even in one of the old Gary Vee videos, I remember someone said, I just like drinking and alcohol, so how do I make money off that? And he said, go sell, I think he said be like a promo thing for alcohol in the clubs or something. Like you can do things out at parties. Especially in Gold Coast, my partner has so many friends that are performers, like fire performers. They do all these different crazy things. So everyone's out going to bush offs and festivals all the time as their side hustles, or some of them do it full time. So you can literally do anything. So just think, what are you knowledgeable in? What are you good at? And what do you want your days to look like? Part 4, what is next for me? During the UV paint shoot, this was a crazy moment. It took the whole day, obviously, 9.5 hours of painting and then a few hours of shooting and stuff as well. So it was a big day. I actually got a text being let go from my job. And I was working at a little health store, Whole Foods cafe in my old little suburb where I lived in the country. So it was almost an hour's drive from where I am now, very out of the way. A pretty drive along the trees, but I've got a 4-wheel drive now and it's a lot of gas, and my shifts were only like 4 hours. And still, even that's good for me because I'll go to work, I prefer 5, it just got cut back at the end, but I'd be kind of getting tired by the end, and then would come home, refresh, have something to eat, then go to the gym, then still need to walk the dog and stuff because I'm a bodybuilder and I just like to maintain a healthier routine. So even my days are full with a shift like that. But I just had this thing thinking I don't want to go back to work. When I got back into Australia, I was quite unwell. I had nausea for quite a few days. I had all this tension up in my neck. I actually had such bad migraines. I was asleep. I had to go to bed 3 times in a day to go have a sleep because I couldn't see. I was trying to get massages, spent heaps of money on dry needling. I was really not well, and then I felt good for about 2 days, and I felt another UTI coming on, and that would be my 4th one since last July. I've been to hospital twice, so I had stinging, and I had hot and cold shivers and sweats, and I was on the couch really not good, and I still had to finish unpacking the house and start working on my app and do all the stuff, and I was I don't even have time to go to work. I'd only been back for really a week though, but I just didn't feel in alignment anymore. I wanted something closer to home to do just 2 days a week or something, again, just to get out of the house and make new friends. Or I actually was thinking now that I'm in this house by myself, I really want to be fully self-sufficient by the end of the year. So I'll see how things go, but I might even just give it a go now. I'll see how the next few weeks go. But I told my partner during the shoot, I was like, I have good news. And he said, what? And I said, I just got let go from my job. And who ever says that? But it's because I'd been wanting that, but I didn't want to let them down, blah, blah, blah. And it was just because I couldn't do the hours that they wanted. And on Fridays, I worked 2 jobs. And it was in a really positive way. She was like, we've loved having your bubbly face in the store, and we still want to keep you on call. And she felt really bad for telling me, and I was like, honestly, that would be perfect if I can just be on call and be able to just do it when I can, here and there. That's what I want. So it worked out really well, and yeah, I just felt this sigh of relief, and it's a good kick in the butt for me to fully make things happen this year. So I think I've decided last night on my app launch date, so that's going to have plant-based recipes on it, a few educational videos, even things in the gym, things that I struggled with when I started actually training properly and doing weights, not just kettlebell circuits, and that's when I really started to see my physique change. So I'm making a list of all the recipes I need left to launch so that I know it's ready. I've got to make the whole marketing plan for it, really, really get it clear in my head. I am planning to launch a high-ticket life transformation program later in the year, but it'll be weekly videos, which is a lot of work to put together, and lots of weekly check-ins, and just figuring out how to really make this really, really transformational thing. I've got the New Zealand trip. I'm meant to be going to Sydney next weekend to do content as well. I've got the bodybuilding show in April. I'm still settling into my new home and my relationship and trying not to let the past trauma that still is affecting me a little bit carry into the new relationship, and remembering that it's a new person, it's a safe space. They're not going to do all these things to me. They're not going to kick me out of home. They're not going to criticize me and think that I'm not doing enough. He really, really believes in my business more than me and is really, really pushing me and gives me the encouragement and reassurance. So just really settling into this home. I've never had a house to myself or been in charge of a house. So just learning how to look after a property when it's not just your room. I don't know, it's like a whole thing in itself. Like, oh, everything is up to you. Taking action with my mental health by signing up for a few psychology/counselling sessions. So I got a mental health care plan from the doctor, and that's really just to work through the anger from last year and the hurt and a few niggly things in my mind, and just like really working on my self-worth and just, I don't know, stuff from the past. I just think about it way too much, and I'm just too angry, and that only affects me. It doesn't affect the other people. I booked in a few sessions with a PT to help with my gym anxiety, just to help with a little bit of my form and the machines, and just knowing alternative ways of doing things. If the gym is busy, there might be a different way. I can do different equipment in a different place of the gym, so I'm not like, oh my god, every machine that I need right now is full, and just freaking out and wanting to leave. Now I want to work through things like, oh, well, if I can do it with a dumbbell over here, or I can do it this way, blah, blah, blah. So just feeling a lot more comfortable within myself in a busier gym environment. And last of all, just remembering who I am before all this crap knocked me down. It has been one hell of a journey, one hell of a roller coaster, but this is the year. And I'm more in tune with myself than ever. I've grown more than ever. I'm actually enjoying getting older because I'm becoming wiser, and I've learned so much more, and I'm way more self-aware, and yeah, I'm just enjoying who I'm becoming as I get more mature. So just embracing it. So this video and podcast is getting pretty long now, so I'll wrap things up. So if you want to see more videos like this and podcast episodes, don't forget to subscribe. I'll put the links for everything down below for my app and my other social channels, and I look forward to seeing you next time. I'm going to do my best to keep up with weekly or fortnightly videos. I'll see how I go, but I've got some great ideas in the works, and I can't wait to take you with me. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you found some value out of this.